Welcome, dear reader. Have you ever felt a sudden burst of excitement that made you want to change your life, start a new habit, or chase a big dream, only to find that this powerful feeling disappeared after a short time? It is a common experience that many people face, and it often leaves them confused and frustrated. Motivation feels like a strong and bright force, pushing you forward with energy and hope, but it is also unpredictable and temporary. Today, you are about to read a story that explores a deeper truth hidden behind this experience. It will show you why something quieter and less exciting, discipline, can lead to greater success and long-term progress. As you read, you may begin to see your own habits and choices in a new way. At first, it may seem strange to believe that discipline is more powerful than motivation. After all, motivation is what helps us begin. It gives us the courage to take the first step and the energy to imagine a better future. Without it, starting can feel difficult and even impossible. But what happens after that first step? What happens when the excitement fades and the energy disappears? This story takes place in a unique world where these two forces, motivation and discipline, shape everything. Through the experiences of this world, you will discover which force truly helps people move forward, complete their goals, and create lasting change in their lives. In a quiet valley surrounded by tall mountains, there existed a place known as the Land of Effort, where everything depended on two invisible forces that guided the actions of its people. The first force was motivation, a powerful and exciting energy that would arrive suddenly, filling the valley with enthusiasm and life. Whenever motivation appeared, people felt unstoppable, as if nothing could stand in their way, and they rushed to begin new projects, build homes, grow crops, and learn new skills with great passion. The second force, however, was discipline, a calm and steady presence that did not create excitement or strong emotions, but instead offered quiet strength and consistency. Unlike motivation, discipline did not come and go. It was always there, waiting patiently for anyone willing to follow it. The people of the valley naturally preferred motivation because it made everything feel easy and enjoyable, and they learned to depend on its arrival before taking action. Whenever motivation swept through the valley like a strong wind, work would begin everywhere at once, and the valley would become full of activity, noise, and hope. However, just as quickly as it arrived, motivation would disappear, leaving behind silence and stillness. Without that exciting energy, people found it difficult to continue what they had started, and slowly, they stopped working. Half-built houses stood abandoned, fields remained only partially planted, and many dreams were left unfinished, as if they had been forgotten. As time passed, this pattern repeated again and again, and the valley became known not for its success, but for its endless beginnings that never reached completion. Then one day, something unusual happened. Motivation did not return for a very long time. Days turned into weeks, and the valley remained quiet and still, with no sign of the powerful force that everyone had come to rely on. Without motivation, the people felt lost and uncertain, and they waited patiently, hoping for its return before taking any action. The valley, once full of energy during those short bursts of excitement, now felt frozen, as if time itself had slowed down. In the middle of this silence, a small and almost unnoticeable change began to take place, as the quiet force of discipline started to guide a few individuals who chose not to wait any longer. These people did not feel excited or inspired, and they did not have strong emotions pushing them forward, but they made a simple decision to act anyway. They picked up their tools and returned to their unfinished work, taking small steps each day without expecting quick results. Their progress was slow and steady, and there were no dramatic changes at first. But they did not stop, even when the work felt difficult or boring. The rest of the valley watched these individuals with confusion and even doubt, wondering why anyone would continue to work without the presence of motivation, which had always been the main source of energy and action. Despite the questions and uncertainty around them, those who followed discipline remained focused on their tasks, repeating their efforts day after day without depending on how they felt. Over time, their small and consistent actions began to create visible results. As unfinished houses slowly became complete structures, empty fields began to show signs of growth, and skills improved through regular practice. Meanwhile, the majority of the valley remained inactive, still waiting for motivation to return and bring with it the energy they believed was necessary for success. As more time passed, the difference between the two groups became clearer, and the steady progress made by those following discipline stood in contrast to the stillness of those who continued to wait. Eventually, after a long absence, motivation finally returned to the valley, bringing with it the familiar wave of excitement and enthusiasm that everyone had missed. The people of the valley quickly responded to this sudden energy, rushing once again to start new projects and take action with renewed passion. But this time, they noticed something they had never seen before. Those who had continued working without motivation had already moved ahead, completing their tasks and making real progress while others had been waiting. This discovery surprised many people and caused them to question their long-held belief that motivation was the most important force for success. As they observed more closely, they began to understand that motivation, while powerful, was not reliable because it could disappear at any time, leaving them without direction or energy. Discipline, on the other hand, provided a steady path forward, allowing progress to continue regardless of changing emotions or external conditions. Slowly, more people in the valley decided to follow discipline, learning to take action even when they did not feel motivated, and focusing on consistency rather than excitement. At first, this new approach felt difficult and uncomfortable, as they were no longer guided by strong emotions. But over time, they developed a deeper sense of control and confidence in their ability to continue moving forward. The valley began to transform, becoming a place of steady growth instead of sudden bursts of activity followed by long periods of inactivity. Projects were completed, goals were achieved, and dreams became reality. Not because of temporary motivation, but because of consistent effort guided by discipline. Although motivation still visited the valley from time to time and was welcomed for the energy it brought, the people no longer depended on it as they once had. They understood that while motivation could help them start quickly, it was discipline that allowed them to continue and finish what they had begun. Over the years, the valley became known as a place of success and learning, attracting visitors who wanted to discover its secret. When asked about their success, the people of the valley shared a simple but powerful lesson. Motivation may help you begin, but only discipline can carry you through to the end. They explained that waiting for motivation is like waiting for perfect conditions that may never come, while discipline allows you to take control and move forward regardless of circumstances. This understanding changed the way many people approach their goals, both inside and outside the valley. As you reflect on this story, consider how often you rely on motivation to take action and how often you stop when that feeling disappears. The lesson here is not complicated, but it requires practice and patience. You do not need to wait for the perfect moment or a strong feeling to begin. Instead, you can choose to act, take small steps, and continue even when it feels difficult. In the end, it is not the strength of your motivation that determines your success, but the consistency of your discipline that truly makes the difference.